Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS, who rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ainal. The title of this video is Global News Highlights. And pretty much, just tracking the news and filtering the news through the scriptures in these last days so the whole elect can be comforted, right? And know what's going on pursuant to the scriptures. Right? The scriptures say that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy tongue. And you get this wisdom and knowledge through the scriptures. This Isaiah 33:6, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is his treasure. All right. So, we fear the Lord, rehearse the righteous acts, right? And we have this knowledge and this information to keep us stable with everything falling apart as it seems around the world. But this is all good news. This is Matthew 24:6. Grab it. Well, I started so I can just bear with me is loading, pull up the scriptures here. All right, this is Matthew 24 and 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came up to him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Right. So the things that we're witnessing that seem, it may seem like all hell is breaking loose, which it is, but it's for your benefit, for the hopeful elect's benefit, because Yahweh Shah is on the way, right? And this current age and rulership of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is at an end. This is Matthew 24:3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came up to him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? It says, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. Right, you have your false prophets, right, out there leading the sheep astray. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Individuals could be freaking out with all these wars popping up. Ceasefire has been broken. But this is prophesied all in the scriptures. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All of these are the beginning of sorrows, right? And pretty much that's exactly what's happening. I got in this DeepSeek artificial intelligence app. I asked the top news worldwide regarding geopolitical issues, because this is nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Unstability, in the world, right, which is causing friction and problems, and people are upset to the point where they're attacking each other, whether it be with actual missiles or different policies or tariffs and things like that. This is grab this First Corinthians. All right, First Corinthians 15:24. It says, I'll get it in the NLT. It says, after that, the end will come. when he would turn the kingdom over to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the Father, having destroyed every ruler and authority and power. For Yahushai must reign until he humbles all his enemies beneath his feet. Right. So Yahushua is coming to destroy all these different kingdoms. Right. That's why basically fire is being kindled here, right? Nations against nation, people against people. All right. So let's get into these news events here. They gave me 5 points and then some key takeaways. We have point 1, escalating U.S.-Russia tensions over Ukraine and tariffs. Trump's ultimatum. It says the U.S. threatened 100% tariffs, right? And people suggested 1,000%. I believe it was like the EU, but Trump said it doesn't matter whether it's 100% or 1,000%. It'll serve the same purpose. It says the U.S. threatened 100% tariffs on Russian oil buyers unless Moscow agrees to a Ukraine peace deal within 50 days, a move Russia called unacceptable. Right, and we, basically they're losing. The whole plan, all the experts are bringing it out. Their whole plan was to use Ukraine as a proxy to cripple Russia, but ultimately that did not work at all, right? Russia is basically obliterating Ukraine in a way where they're taking over all the land. And pretty soon, Ukraine will be a part of Russia. So now that that's backfired and they're calling for cease deals. In the beginning of this war, Zelensky seek peace, with Russia, but the U.S. and EU basically told him not to do that, But now they're giving ultimatums where it must be a peace deal. But like this says here, Russia said that's unacceptable, and this ultimatum ends around September 2nd. They didn't put it here, but around September 3rd or 4th, Russia is supposed to be meeting with Xi Jinping, which is the president of China, to basically sign a treaty together regarding military use and things like that. So we have China entering into the war eventually soon, right? So World War III is popping and it's here. All right, this is a major prophecy, that we've been waiting to come to pass, right? It just has not intensified yet. But ultimately, this war ends in nuclear destruction. So it's here. They're fighting in different many ways, but the nukes have not been shot yet. All right. So military escalation. The U.S. is preparing to supply Ukraine with long-range ATACMS missiles, potentially enabling strike deeper into Russian territory. Right, and we've seen that with all the information that's coming out, Donald Trump has secret talks with the Ukrainian president, asking him, can he hit Moscow, right, in different, top level facilities and things like that in Russia. And that's another indicator that they wanted to use Ukraine as a proxy to cripple Russia, but it's not working. So we have secondary sanctions. A proposed U.S. bill could impose 500% tariffs on countries importing Russian energy, blurring lines between tariffs and sanctions. And as you can see, there's a heavy, basically, it keep mentioning Russia. Why is that? Let's grab this. This is Revelation chapter 20 and verse 7. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, right? And this is talking about Esau Edom, the so-called white man that's adverse, right? He's adversary to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and everything that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai stands for, right? And the way that he was loose from his prison, because during the Dark Ages or during the Byzantine Empire, when the so-called black man was ruling, we had the so-called white man, Edom, in subjection, where he couldn't rule, but it says it would be a period of time where he will be loose from that sentence, that prison sentence that he was in. This is what it's talking about. It says Revelations 20, And 7, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. This is during the Renaissance period, right? And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. That's what they did. They deceived them to make you believe that they're morally correct, that they're the people of God, right? It says Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea, right? This is going into World War III with Russia, right? Because pursuant to Ezekiel 38, Russia will be the chief that's going to, come against America. Like America is their own chief. So whoever is joined with America will be, it will be America, and whoever is joined with them. In the scriptures, it says that America's ally is Israel, so America will be the chief of that. And then you have Russia, and Russia will be the chief of, now it's looking like, and it says in the scriptures, China, Iran, right? And many more people. So I'll read that in the NLT. It says, Revelation 28, he will go out to deceive the nations called Gog and Magog in every corner of the earth. He will gather them together for battle, a mighty army as numberless as the sand along the seashore. So that's what's being prepared now, a battle with Russia. But this is going to go to World War III, and many people are going to join the size of, different people. So we have point 2 now, Middle East crisis, Gaza starvation policy, and regional conflicts. See, so all this stuff is here in the scriptures, and that's that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. You don't need to freak out or anything like that. So Gaza humanitarian catastrophe says Palestinian PM Mohammed accused Israel of using starvation as a weapon of war, with 995 plus Palestinians killed while awaiting aid over 654 days of conflict. He urged global intervention to lift aid blockades, right? And this is how, pretty much people are seeing that the wicked are the wicked, that being Israel and America, and they currently run the world, right? Job 9:24 says the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, right? And every nation pretty much has been subject unto America. And now they're seeing that America or Israel, they don't care about what's happening. This is Isaiah 32 and 5. It says, the vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the troll said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord Yahweh Bashmiah Shah, to make empty the souls of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. See, so that's the vile person, that's the wicked, that's Esau Edom, right? And that's exactly what he's doing, and the nations are seeing that, which is also causing friction, right, and causing wars. Let me see if I can find this thing. All right, this is Luke chapter 12, verse 49. It says, I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? NLT, I have come to set the world on fire, and I wish it were already burning. Right, so these different tensions and things like that is Yahweh Bashmiah Shah drawing near, right, stirring the pot, mustering the host of the battle, right, for his return. So we have Syria instability. Israeli airstrikes hit Syria's defense ministry and presidential palace, violating a ceasefire amid ongoing clashes between Druze militants and pro-government forces in Sueda. Okay, so this is a new war front that Israel has opened against Syria, and we'll just have to let this also play out. But nonetheless, war is being prepared all over. This is Isaiah 13 and 4. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh, Bashmiah Shah of hosts, mustered the hosts of the battle. So it's the Lord Yahweh stirring these things up and gathering these people together for war. All right. Point three says U.S. trade wars and global alliances under strain. South Korea's backlash. Trump's threat of 25% tariffs by August 1st has eroded South Korean public trust in the U.S., with favorability dropping at 61% from 77 in 2024. It says EU sanctions debate. New EU sanctions on Russian oil risk disrupting global energy markets, sparking debates over inflation and supply stability. Then we have China's FDI decline, stricter regulations, and U.S. tariffs peaking at 145% in April have worsened China's foreign investment drought, right? So this is all related to what America is doing. America is causing all this problem in the world right now, right? Because of trade, these different sanctions that they want on different people regarding around Russia, right? Who they're preparing to go to battle with. This is a Revelations. And, 17. And I'll just start at 12. Right. This is regarding the America and their allies. This is Revelation 17 and verse 12. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet." Now, this is going to the EU and NATO. It says, "But receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." So America is ruling, and America has given power to her allies, which will be EU and NATO. Right? They don't have a kingdom themselves, but they rule with America. It says, "These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." So pretty much whatever America tells them to do, they do. It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them." Now this is going to World War III. You know, when Yahushua returns, all these different nations will be gathered for war. They're going to turn on our Lord, you know, to fight him when he returns. They're going to stop fighting each other. It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful." Right? The hopeful elect returning back to the Lord. He's coming. When he comes, he's also beaming up his elect, right? And putting us into those spaces that he's going to be arriving in. That's pursuant to Matthew 24, around verse 30. So this is Revelation 17 and 15. It says, and he saith unto me, "The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her with flesh and burn her with fire." So these same allies that America has are going to eventually hate America. And we're seeing that happen now. And it's because of different things America is doing. Because these tariffs and these sanctions and things like that, even though they do them, sometimes they don't want to do them. But America is ruling, you know, so they have to. So that to the point where eventually, you know, they're going to turn on her and no longer listen. That's what it's going to. It says, "For Yahweh have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled." So they're going to keep, you know, doing what they're doing until basically Yahweh tells them to switch sides pretty much. But at the same time, they're hating America for certain reasons, you know, that America is doing. In verse 18 says, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the king of the earth." And that is America. America reigneth over the king of the earth, right? And America now is causing the earth problems. So people are getting upset. All right, so we got point 4 here. It says Asia Pacific power shifts. We have Japan's political earthquake. The ruling LDP lost its upper house majority for the first time in 7 years, with the far right party gaining ground on an anti-immigration platform. And pretty much, you know, these shifts can also cause instability, you know, because a lot of people have received bribes or in the pockets of the elites, right? But now, you know, things are shifting. So we'll just have to, you know, look at it, see what happens. Taiwan-China tensions. It says Taiwan conducted HIMARS drills to counter potential Chinese attacks. while Beijing showcased AI advancements to outnumber Western tech curves. And that's another problem. That's another war that could open up soon regarding Taiwan and China and America. Right, America is backing Taiwan, and China believes that Taiwan is basically a part of their homeland. Right. Also, it's kind of like the situation with NATO joining or trying to Ukraine trying to join NATO. It's the same situation. You know, Russia told America do not allow NATO or Ukraine to join NATO. Basically, they went into war because of that disagreement. And now you have, you know, Ukraine is not a part of NATO, but they have agreement ties. As you can see, you know, Donald Trump is sending weapons. And the same thing is happening with Taiwan. You know, so it's only a matter of time before that, you know, war happens. We have India's geopolitical moves. Tesla's first Indian showroom opening July 15th, so it should have already opened. Signals deeper U.S.-India tech ties amid trade realignments. Right, because of these trade wars, you know, Trump is basically trying to shift, you know, and get help from somewhere else other than China. Right? China was a major player in helping America regarding trade and things like that, but now they're trying to shift that. So point 5, energy and tech wars reshaping global order, right? It says semiconductor dominance. TSMC hit a 1 trillion valuation on AI demand, while Amazon and Google's custom AI chips threaten NVIDIA's market lead. So the world is going digital. It's a part of the new world order, right? Pursuant to Revelations, the 13th chapter, where they issue forth the mark of the beast, the RFID chip that they have, right? And it's going to be pushed over the world. It says rare earth dependence. U.S. imports of Chinese rare earth magnets surged 660%, exposing supply chain vulnerabilities, right? And that's, you know, China basically, you know, not wanting to do trade with America pretty much. You know, it's in the news. You know, America needs these rare earth metals, and China is not giving it to them. You know, so that's another problem America is having. But it's all because of, you know, what they did. Grab that. This is Job, chapter 18. And I'll start at 7. It says, the steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. So this is America, you know, these different Shanksians and things like that, it hasn't led them nowhere, but to a point where they're being dragged into war, you know, by Israel, pretty much, you know. All these different things that America has done has led them to this point where, you know, their own counsel is cast them down. You know, these different tariffs and things, sanctions. And now pretty much America is no longer just the force of the world. You know, these different nations are rising up. You got BRICS and things like that. America isn't happy about it. So anyway, we have hydropower expansion. China began building the world's largest dam. Okay. So they, you know, they're still trying to increase. What is it? Psalm 49:11 says that inward thought is that they will continue, you know, continue to live on here in this current age, and that's not the case. This is Psalm 49:11. It says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, in their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. But really, Yahweh, Bashmal shall about to come and set things in order with the Israelites ruling. So that's what Psalms 2 says, why did the heathen rage and the wicked and the people imagine the vain thing? All right, so we got key takeaways. Trade as warfare. Trump's tariff-centric strategy is destabilizing alliances. South Korea, EU, while targeting adversaries, Russia and China. And that's what I was saying. The nations are going to hate America, you know, and they're going to fight against America because of the things that are happening, the things that America is doing. We have humanitarian crisis. Gaza and Syria highlight the collapse of international conflict resolution mechanism. Yeah, because, you know, there's no peace and safety, only war, right? And pretty much those things were set up by America, and they're failing. It says tech and energy race, AI chips and clean energy projects are projects are becoming geopolitical battlegrounds. Right, there's an arms race regarding AI, and chips and things like that, which is good because that goes along with the scriptures also, you know, where they're going to issue forth, those the mark of the beast. So anyway, that's been the news. Lord willing, you're edified from it, and comforted that to know that the things that are happening are directly tied to the scriptures. Okay, Shalom, soul for elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.